The game was really just because I want to get to a point where eventually it's going to be an app, like an app you can download in the store. That's why the VR element. I don't know if you joined in for that conversation today.
Oh no, I didn't make it.
You didn't make it for the VR. Okay, so that's a separate day. But we have the VR headset here, and we have a company that's actually very interested in working with us, and so we are visualizing these molecules in VR, which means if I can visualize them in VR, I could do Pokemon Go type stuff with now molecules. Okay. You see where we're going? There we go. So anyway, so for your purposes, we were able to represent molecules by color, by song, because this essentially also is a playlist, right? I could just play this as a playlist on Stationhead. In fact, that's what I did in season 3 and 4. And then in season 5, we went even deeper now, okay? Because it was like, okay, so if we can represent naturally occurring proteins by letters, by colors, by lyrics, what if we take lyrics of songs that we're representing and turn those into proteins? So now that's the de novo design of it all, right? And so we took a bunch of lyrics from Nicki Minaj, from a bunch of other artists that we had from season 1, okay, that had been made throughout the course of Steamer Living. We also had lyrics from season 2. There were people who were just dropping lyrics in comments and not knowing what it's about, but doubting the process, just going like, I don't know what this is about. You remember this? I need to reach out to her at some point. This is what it was about, girl. Takura actually is one of the people who listed some protein molecules as lyrics, and Tammy and a bunch of other people. And so those proteins, together with the Nicki Minaj proteins, sent for lab results. And so now we actually have 2 labs independently verified. So we had a lab here in Boston.
What we did in season 1 and what I was able to present at Abercams in 23 is basically what you're doing now, right? As a collective with all of the lyrics. You're doing what we did with our challenge for the finale with the little lyrics that you find from people, right? And
right. So what you presented was essentially the goals, I guess, of the project. Like you basically presented the project as what it could be, right? Because you had made a protein using software that was available. You used Protein Generator, and you used your own lyrics to design this protein, and you used basically your knowledge at that point of looking at different structures that we looked at. We looked at hemoglobin. We looked at a couple different other structures online to make sure that your protein looks like an actual protein, even though you're putting in lyrics that you're putting in. And then we looked at the sequence that you finally had as your output, and we compared that with natural proteins out in the world, and we found, there are actually some that potentially bind to metals, bind to impurities. And so we started making a theory about what your proteins could potentially be doing, which is, maybe they could do water purification because they're binding to metals, right? And so your poster was really aspirational, right? It's like where hip-hop biochemistry could go. We didn't have a wet lab that we could use to source any of that stuff at that time to actually follow through and make sure that it's concrete, right? Now we do. And so what we're doing now is basically following your exact footstep, but now we're adding the wet lab component, and now things are validated. So now when we say, hey, this sequence actually could bind to a metal or is thermostable or whatever, it's real, like it's an actual molecule now that exists, and this sequence can bind to a metal, which means we can patent it for water purification. It can be in a water bottle that could be sold in the store.